darkness!
A darkness approaches. A day will come in the future when everything you care about will change. Until then, I'll be watching you.
They saw the end of the world.
I've been called many things over many lifetimes. Ra, Krishna, Yahweh.
Ever since the world found out about mutants, there have been secret societies who see them as some kind of second coming or sign of God. Followers he would imbue with power.
Like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You got that one from the Bible.
Or the Bible got it from him.
Our world has been at peace. But something is coming. I can feel it. Dark forces are upon us.
Jodie, the entities around the rift, they're not my guidance. They're from the depths of the other side. We know almost nothing about them.
I've been living with an entity that I know nothing about since the day I was born.
We know another country has discovered the infraworld. They think it's something to be controlled or manipulated. They have no idea what they're dealing with. If entities enter our world, do you know what that would mean, Jodie?
Jodie. You opened my eyes. It was so obvious, but I didn't want to see.
Help me.
I'm going to accomplish man's oldest dream. Nobody will have to die anymore. No one will ever be separated again.
What are you talking about?
The containment field. I'm going to deactivate it. The infraworld will spread through our dimension. Life and death, united in one world.
It's not just souls on the other side. It's death.
Black Sun.
Lucifer Morningstar. Is that a stage name?
God-given, I'm afraid.
Rihanna has launched a mysterious new project which is in collaboration with Samsung and is a virtual experience which also corresponds with the release of her 8th album titled Anti.
My voice is my power.
Your face emerges from the shadows.
I felt like
The transformation is coming.
The world will see who I am.
I follow you into the darkness. We await the greatness that beckons.
There is gold at the end of this journey.
How do you drown out the noise?
There is no end.
Only new beginnings.
I'm out of my mind, out of my I'm airplane, sorry I'm late. I'm on my way, so don't close that gate. If I don't make that, then I switch my flight and I'll be right back at it by the end of the night.
That airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars. I could really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
You've put out some very strange tweets of late.
I don't really want to say too much, but I will say do your own research.
You sound like a conspiracy theorist.
I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. There's no more conspiracy. I know. And so it's really up to each person to do their own research and come to your own truths, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we as people listen too much to what somebody tells us and we don't actually go background check and really say, you know what, that really don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you really look at a lot of different things and you start to think, and so what I like to do is I like to provoke thought, you know, and provoking thought is the least you could do. You can't make somebody believe something. You really got to just provoke thought.
You're not in the system. Everybody's in the system.
Whoa, come on. Hey, buddy, just take your time.
Thanks for staying with us. We may never need our credit cards to buy groceries or gas. Some are calling it the wave of the future. It's a new cafe cash register inside the Peak Sports Club on Perryville, allowing us to use our palms for payment. Whitney?
Yeah, Mike, when I first asked the owner about the device, I thought he was kidding when he said I could buy a bottle of water with my hand. My reaction is one that a lot of customers have, as many Peak gym members are leaving their credit cards at home.
You don't need your phone, you don't need your keys, you don't need a scan card, all you need is your hand.
All right, just hit OK. Do you need a receipt? No, I don't. Thank you.
It's called biotechnology. The device scans the movement in our hands by setting them here. So essentially, we're paying with our own identification.
It's kind of crazy. Definitely outside the box. But it's convenient.
Where did this idea come from? The company's creator out of New York says the device could change the future of retail.
I think biometrics is the way forward. I think biometrics is something that's still growing as a technology. But at the end of the day, I really don't see physical, like currency and credit cards being the future. I think it'll be something else.
Again, I want to remind you, I was not a prophecy studier or expert at this time when this vision came to me. I began to walk the streets in shock at the current events. The events are difficult to describe because lawlessness and fear was permeating society completely. After about 2 weeks of time, television and radio began to be back up and running. However, it was completely different than what was previously being broadcast. The broadcasts were being bombarded nearly everywhere, and they were depicting a soon-to-come new government and leadership. A man would be emerging to lead us. The man finally came on the scene. Almost immediately, he began to communicate through large-screen televisions that were strategically placed everywhere the general populace met. Now, what was strange about this is that this man's speeches and directions for the whole world had to do with new times upon us as human beings, new directives for global peace, and the need to give up current citizenship for world citizenship. This man continually and constantly spoke of world order and the benefits of all men dwelling together in peace.
I haven't had what you call much of a formal education, but you can find most anything if you look hard enough.
Skateboarder, the coolest balloonist in town is Kool-Aid Man. He's appearing in his 6th Thanksgiving Day parade, which is very cool.
And he's actually got some pretty cool numbers to contemplate as well. He has 4 fingers, 3 ice cubes, and check it out, 6s for eyes and a nose.
Now listen to this, please, very carefully. At staggering rates, people were buying right into this plan that this man was releasing through the airwaves. At staggering rates. No resistance. No one was fighting it. No one was saying anything publicly. I will never forget this individual's face. His face was almost supernatural in appearance. He was almost too perfect. He was, for a lack of terms, he was the most handsome man I had ever seen. I was telling Stan that he had kind of a chiseled look to his face, and everything about his appearance was almost perfect. And when he spoke, there was just a very strange quality about him. The New Order was said to have all the answers to problems and the leadership necessary to bring the change, causing the world to finally become the envisioned globe of peace. This is what we heard over and over. Folks, this was 1980 when I had this dream.
Well, you know, when things were tough, you know, I realized that this too shall pass, you know, that this was just a temporary situation. I realized that, you know, as long as I made the right choice, you know, and followed my faith more than what people were saying, or what the newspapers or the tabloids were saying, and didn't get sucked into that, none of that stuff was real. The only thing that is really real is the stuff that's going to last forever. You know, your faith and your belief in God, and knowing that, you know, once you're a Christian, you've accepted Christ as your Savior. You know, you're not going to perish, but you're going to have everlasting life. That belief in itself and that faith is what's pretty much the only thing that's real to me, you know. Everything else is kind of like a life situation, but that's my life after life after life.
You know, it's when you get your guys back, you prepare just as you prepared before. There's only one guy ever in the world that everything will be all right when he comes back, and that's Jesus Christ. Other than that, you can't bank on nobody being okay.
And that's what all religions are about anyway. Be a good person.
Yeah, the thing I don't like about it.
You don't think all religions have the thing of be a good person?
Not Christianity, but
No,
by grace through faith.
Yeah.
What?
What?
By grace through faith you've been saved. So it's
It's
nothing that we can
nothing-
do.
no
I'm
words.
good. I'm a good girl. I don't know what to worry about.
But Joy, then what? But what is the standard of goodness?
Be good to your neighbor. Don't cheat on your husband. Don't steal.
But in the Bible,
Don't
but
murder.
here's the thing.
Don't murder anybody.
But in the Bible, God's standard is the 10 Commandments.
I'm good on that too.
You've never told a lie before, ever?
What, is that one of the commandments?
It's the commandment.
Never
It's number
mind.
9.
So maybe the 9 commandments
That's
she's
my
okay with.
point.
A
God's
1 out
standard
of
of
10,
goodness
you're
is
going to kill me
different.
for that?
Well, God says if you disobey but one commandment, it's as if you've disobeyed all of them. So if God's standard is different by which he judges the world, then that's where the argument of only being a good person then leads to the gospel.
City is floating in the clouds. Of course, we can't verify if the video is real or not, but we have seen things like this before.
This is a parallel universe. Hundreds of people, well, actually thousands of residents in 2 different areas in China reported seeing this. It was reported on in the Chinese media there. Did parallel universe open up? Hundreds see floating city filmed in the skies above China. And so their weather experts are saying that this phenomenon it's an illusion called Fata Morgana, which is, they say it can be seen on land or sea. It involves the optical distortion and inversion of distant objects, such as boats, which will appear stacked like skyscrapers because the rays of light will bend. But this is clearly a city. It's not a boat, a stack of boat. And then there's another video as well where it's a really intricate, a detailed phantom city floating over China. So of course the internet has gone ablaze. They're wondering, is this Project Bluebeam test, something like that, or China? They say with all the technological achievements that they have, are they using it, setting up some type of holographic thing to see the response from the public there?
Well, I'm Jared Petty, and this is IGN News. Google and NASA have a D-Wave 2X quantum annealer, and they say it's 100 million times faster than a PC with a single core. Over the past couple of years, Google's quantum AI team has been researching quantum annealers and how they can be used effectively. We found that for problem instances involving nearly 1,000 binary variables, quantum annealing significantly outperforms its classical counterpart, simulated annealing.
Simply this, I believe the big lie that's going to be hoisted upon the world is that the aliens created mankind, which I categorically reject. It's funny, the people that will accept the fact that the Anunnaki, star creatures, came to this planet will avoid fallen angels like a plague. I wanted the correct, in my opinion, after 40 years of research, I wanted the correct historic and biblical presentation of the giants. And quite candidly, when I talk to some of them, if I start talking about fallen angels having sex with earth women, they snicker. Well, that snicker tells me they've already made up their mind. And I said, I will only appear on camera if I can have final edit of what I say. guess what? Nobody want to do that. That tells me there's agenda. So I believe this is a time that you and I are going to basically go out and say to the world, okay, here's what those guys are saying, but here's not only what the Bible says, and here's how accurate the Bible is with the history that follows.
You've turned down opportunities to work with some of the major networks on documentaries concerning giants. Why have you decided not to work with them? And furthermore, why have you decided to start your own production company, Gen 6 Productions?
Gen 6 Productions is totally different than everything else that's on the TV, everything else that's on the documentary. Everybody's looking in a rear-view mirror at history, just trying to find the bones and find the original documents of all of the different finds, and I've spent 20 years doing that already. But we're taking people, Tim, simply where no one else has ever gone before. They're starting from the premise that all the giants are gone. We're starting from the premise that there are modern-day giants now who aren't suffering from acromegaly or some pituitary disorder, but they're literally going to fulfill the biblical statement of Matthew 24, where Jesus said, just as in the days of Noah, so would it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. Most people do not understand the evil. Most people can't even embrace the fact that this isn't about old bones. This is about a contemporary threat beyond any science fiction twisting of the facts, and that's why we're going to, I believe the best antidote, that's why we're going to do this thing, Gen 6 Productions. We're going to present information, we're going to present eyewitness testimony. Again, we're not just dealing with bones. Obviously, we'll follow the leads of bones, but we're going to show the people out there what the truth is and why this cover-up has been a multi-thousand-year cover-up, and what the expectation that everyone is going to, not only the expectation, but what is going to be presented to the people as the gods who made us. And I got that if the days weren't shortened, there'd be no flesh left alive, yet for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. The genetic tampering, the genetic destruction, the designs of the Luciferian globalists to destroy every human being on the planet, to insert their new creation, that we'll call him the Uberman, Nietzsche's statement, the Superman. What it's going to be is a super slaughter.